Do Smack Talk Live special draft edition. We are 2 hours early. We are going to follow the NFL draft first round tonight. Lone Wolf will be joining us shortly. And, we got some interesting stuff to talk about while we wait for the first pick to come in. The Jaguars are officially on the clock. But the big news, supposedly big news, but we don't know for sure what is going on. But there are reports that Aaron Rodgers has asked to be traded from the Green Bay Packers, and that the 49ers actually reached out last night and offered a substantial trade package, including the number 3 pick, Jimmy Garoppolo, and 4 other picks, including 2 for next year. So, this is going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Obviously, you look at this, and it's hard to take this face value. The Packers have come out and said he's our quarterback. Could this be Rodgers, leveraging them to pick a player he wants? So it is going to be very, very interesting to see how that situation turns out. Now, if it is true he does not want to come back, the Packers have all the leverage. He's under contract for 2 more seasons. And unless he wants to sit out, he's going to have to play for them. And after that, they can technically franchise tag him. So they have him probably, they could hold on to him as long as they want. Kind of like the Deshaun Watson situation. The individual player can make his demands known and wanted, but that's not going to happen all the time. I really think that this is a kind of a power play by Rodgers to try to get more influence with the draft process with the Packers. I think stuff's been going on behind closed doors this whole entire time. I think somebody had a conversation with somebody, and they insinuated that this happened. So until I hear Aaron Rodgers come out and say, "Yeah, I want to be traded," or his agent comes out and wants to be traded, in my opinion, it's a null story. Now, the interesting thing here is you had within a couple hours of each other of the report of the huge trade offer from the 49ers to the Packers for Aaron Rodgers, and the Packers denying that. Then all of a sudden, now that like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, the report Aaron Rodgers wants to be traded out of Green Bay. If I'm the Green Bay Packers, I am contacting the league offices and asking them to investigate tampering, because that's just weird. It's a weird thing, and that's not a coincidence. There's no way that's a coincidence. Somebody in that organization has spoken to Aaron Rodgers about coming and playing in San Francisco, especially if he did go to Green Bay all of a sudden and demand to be traded, because he's never done that before. He's had plenty of opportunity to do this in his career. So it could be a coincidence. I don't think it is. So it's going to be interesting. Now, if a trade happens, if Green Bay were to trade Aaron Rodgers, if I'm Green Bay, I'm holding out for at least 3 first-round draft picks, depending on which team it is and where those draft picks would fall. So 3 first-round draft picks. Like, we'll take the 49ers as an example. If they would trade with the San Francisco 49ers, which I don't think they will do, I'd obviously want this year's third pick, Jimmy Garoppolo, And it didn't say what other picks they're up for. But I would want at least their next 2 first-round draft picks and probably a couple of other picks. I would want probably a total of 5 to 6 picks and Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, people are saying, well, you don't need Jimmy Garoppolo. You got Jordan Love. That's okay. You're never going to have enough quarterbacks. Then you could always turn around and trade Jimmy Garoppolo for 1 or 2 picks. So would it hurt the Packers? Obviously, yes. The Aaron Rodgers coming off MVP. But you could set up yourself the next couple of drafts to have a ton of draft capital and really rebuild your core of your franchise the way you want it to be. Again, will it happen? I don't know. I do not know if this will happen, but it's just kind of a wait and see type of thing. So again, we are on hold here with them. So we'll see. When the 49ers come on the clock at number 3, that could be it. That we could have breaking news. And you'll see what happens. But anyways, if I'm Green Bay, if Rodgers truly wants out, I'm holding out for a ton of picks. As for moving forward here on the draft, we still have the Jaguars on the clock, and this is what I don't get. This is what I don't like about the draft. These first couple picks, you know who you are picking. You know who you're picking, especially when you have the number 1 overall pick, unless you're getting calls about trades. Now, again, if this is true, if Aaron Rodgers truly wants out, and I'm the Green Bay Packers, this is where I kind of probably would be making calls to some teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars have a ton of draft capital. I'd want both their first-round picks this year, their next 2 first-round draft picks, their first round each of the next 2 years for Aaron Rodgers. You can do whatever you want with that number 1 pick. You don't need a quarterback. Now you're in the driver's seat here. You could get Kyle Pitts. Okay. So again, this is going to be interesting to see what actually happens here with this. I really don't know what else to say at this point in time, because we're sitting here kind of a couple hours into this whole Aaron Rodgers saga, but at the same point, we haven't heard anything from Aaron Rodgers or his representatives. It's a source. It's a source. And we know how well media sources can be, especially this day and age. I don't trust any media sources until I hear it confirmed. So anyways, Jacksonville Jaguars, obviously on the clock. I think it's a foregone conclusion they're going to take Trevor Lawrence. I would be a little hesitant if I was the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't like quarterbacks in the first round, especially number 1 overall. Very rarely do they work out. I would be looking at trading this pick and stocking up. And I know people are going to say, well, they have multiple first-round draft picks already and this and that. They have so many holes on this roster that they could do so many different things. Will it happen? I don't know. I doubt it. I'm assuming Trevor Lawrence will go here. Again, we should be coming up close to the end of the time for this pick. So hopefully here we come to the conclusion soon with this pick. And as soon as we get it, we will announce it. So, but again, we look at this. It's interesting because there's some more reports here that he wants to go to the 49ers, Broncos, or Raiders. Guess what? He's not going to the Broncos. The Broncos just traded for Teddy Bridgewater. That's not going to happen. The Packers are not going to trade him to the 49ers. That's an in-conference rival. That's not going to happen. And then obviously the Raiders would be a landing spot. I'm telling you, if I'm Green Bay and if Rodgers is going to start playing this stuff, I'm trading them to the worst team out there. Well, I have no obligation to send them to a contender. And people can say, well, you want to have good relations. No, if he's going in there and he's saying, I want out, I can send him wherever I want to. So unless he has a no trade clause, which I don't believe he does. I don't believe he has a no trade clause. The Green Bay Packers are able to send him anywhere. So again, we will see what happens as we go. Again, we're still waiting here on the first pick for some odd reason. Again, this is why I hate this part of the draft. I can't stand it. Just can't stand it. There's no reason. There's no reason this should take this long. With the pick, especially since you know who you're picking. You know who you're picking here. This isn't a hard one to figure out. This is going to be Trevor Lawrence. We're just continue waiting for some odd reason. So let's see here. And I'm just looking here. I think the things are going to start getting interesting at number 3. I think pick 1 and 2. Again, I think are foregone conclusions. I don't think there's going to be a ton of movement with the first 2 picks. Again, unless somehow a team comes in and just blows away either the Jaguars or the Jets away with an offer. So, but we'll see. We'll see as we go here. And we should already be at the pick. We are 15 minutes in. Again, Still nothing. Still nothing with this pick again. This is the irritating thing about the draft. It's one of the most anticipated nights of the year. You would think you'd move swiftly through some of this stuff. But again, we're just waiting. As we wait again, reports are now, and I'm kind of should more and more information continues to come up about the Aaron Rodgers story. It's kind of I think a developing story, and this is going to continue to develop as we go along here, and really look hard into what is going on. So let's see here. Yeah, and I'm trying to get into the get the draft stream up so we can listen to some analysis of some of the picks here, but nothing seems to be wanting to pull up for me. So again, we'll continue to sit and wait. Again, once Lone Wolf comes on, we'll have a little more lively interaction here. But again, my thoughts here. I think Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson 1-2. Number 3, again, where it gets interesting. Can the 49ers now will Green Bay go back and make a trade with San Francisco? Will they do that, or will they stand pat and basically hold Aaron Rodgers hostage? It's all interesting, speculative stories at this point. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Well, again, we are still waiting here. There's not a lot to talk about right now with draft, but we want to
do later tonight. Are they going to try to get a wide receiver late in the first round to try to appease Aaron Rodgers, sort of offer that olive branch perhaps? Or are they resigned to their fate? That Aaron Rodgers, the 3-time NFL MVP, 1-time Super Bowl champion for them, face of the franchise, is not going to play for them again. And they need to go ahead and decide that they are going to try to find whatever fair trade compensation they can with the Denver Broncos, who do have put an impressive future contract together that I'm told if Aaron Rodgers were to see this contract, Aaron Rodgers would sign on to that contract and play for the Denver Broncos moving forward.
All right, so translate that for me, like boil it down to me in one sentence. If we had, like, Aaron Rodgers is currently a Packer. He can't just leave and go join the Denver Broncos, but the Broncos have basically come up with a contract that Aaron Rodgers is going to love. So then what? The Broncos and Aaron Rodgers go to Green Bay and go figure it out? I mean, what am I? How do I say this to my friends and be accurate?
Yeah, that is essentially it. That Aaron Rodgers has the leverage. He's the NFL MVP, and the Green Bay Packers understand that he doesn't want to be here anymore. Well, this is what superstars do in today's sports. We've seen it, obviously, in the NBA for several years. We've seen it more in the NFL as of late. And look, this didn't just all come together over the last couple of hours. I know the news has certainly been out there over the last couple of hours, but this has not just developed overnight or over the last couple of hours. So I think that we have to keep that in mind when we are thinking about how did the Broncos put such a deal together so quickly? We just saw the news break a couple of hours ago.
Can't Green Bay just say no? I mean, can't Green Bay go, no, we don't know. You're not giving us enough. We're not trading him. I mean, they have to trade him, right? I mean, and what is Green Bay? I mean, Green Bay just says no. What happens?
Okay, well, Green Bay can say no, and then they decide whatever they're going to do with Aaron Rodgers and let him sit on the bench or retire and maybe guest host a game show. And meanwhile, the Denver Broncos, because they didn't up their offer enough, don't have a franchise quarterback. They have Drew Lock battling it out with Teddy Bridgewater as Carolina pays more than half of Teddy Bridgewater's contract. I don't think they're going to be taking Justin Fields on the stage behind me in about 9 picks. The deal is ultimately, as long as cooler heads can prevail eventually, and the heads aren't cool right now, but as long as cooler heads can prevail, ultimately everyone's going to understand. The Green Bay Packers will understand Aaron Rodgers isn't coming back. Aaron Rodgers wants to continue playing, and the Denver Broncos want to compete for more Super Bowls. And EK, the one thing we haven't discussed, this is Aaron Rodgers in the AFC West against Patrick Mahomes twice a year.
All right, so let me make this numerical because that's how my mind works. Right now, at this moment, your best guess, and it could change 30 seconds from now, I acknowledge that. What's the % chance he plays for Green Bay next year? What's the % chance he plays for Denver next year? What's the % chance he does neither of those things next year?
It is greater than 51% that Aaron Rodgers will play for the Denver Broncos next year. I'll put it at 10% that he plays for the Green Bay Packers. I was told earlier today that there are ways that he winds up back in Green Bay. They just may seem a little bit impossible. In my mind, they are impossible. So I'm going to keep it around 10% there. The Raiders are a team that may have shown some interest, that may have been an attractive option, at least from a contract perspective. I think that they are far behind the Denver Broncos. Retirement does not seem to be on the table. He's not just going to pick up and go off into the woods and or wherever Andrew Luck is right now. He's not going to join Andrew Luck in retirement or on a game show necessarily. He does want to continue playing, and all signs right now, not close to a done deal. It could still be several days from now, but all indications right now are, for me, the leader in the clubhouse, no question about it for Aaron Rodgers, the Denver Broncos.
All right, so the next quarterback for John Elway. You could buzz in and go, who is Aaron Rodgers, if we're doing this Jeopardy style, which is, of course, maybe something he wants to do. All right, so what's he worth? If there's going to be a trade, he wants out. Denver wants him. Green Bay says, all right, we've resigned ourselves to the fact that we're going to get rid of him. We're going to go to Jordan Love. He's going to be there. What's he worth? I mean, when it was Deshaun Watson, a few months ago, we were hearing 4 number ones, 3 number ones, and 3 good players. I mean, what's Aaron Rodgers worth at 37 years old, but the reigning MVP?
Yeah, and understanding and knowing what we do about quarterbacks who can play into their 40s now. Yeah, I mean, if I were the Green Bay Packers, I would want 3 first-round picks. Is that what it's ultimately going to be? Again, those two sides haven't discussed trade compensation yet, so it would be my best guess based off of, looking at trade value charts and all those things. I couldn't necessarily say that I would think that it would be 3 first-round picks, an equivalent maybe of 4 first-round picks where you give 2 futures and then you give 2 players that are equivalent to first-round picks.
But this isn't going to get hammered out tonight, right? This is not going to include any trading of picks tonight. Is that correct?
I would be stunned beyond stunned that it happens anytime soon. I think that if we're talking about draft picks, the first draft pick that we're talking about would be in 2022 and not anything that's going to be happening behind me on the clock tonight.
All right, Jonathan Jones, excellent work. He's chasing down the story. We'll have him. We'll get all the latest as exactly how this unfolds. But as we hear the headline now, JJ says more than 51% he's a Bronco next year, 10% he's a Green Bay Packer. There may be some fungible number in there for some other team where he retires and goes off and starts calling game shows. But basically, it looks like he may be under the John Elway. He already did it once with Peyton Manning. Maybe now he's going to add Aaron Rodgers. Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time, bud.
Want to see something all electric? We're driving it everywhere. We are Generation E.
So there you have it, everybody. CBS Sports saying the Denver Broncos are trying already have a contract in place with Aaron Rodgers, but for Aaron Rodgers that he will like and he will sign. I don't know how this doesn't spell tampering all over it. But the first pick of the draft is in. It is Trevor Lawrence, quarterback out of Clemson. Not very, very surprising here. Again, you can't argue with his success at Clemson. You can't argue with some of his skill set. Again, I just don't like quarterbacks being taken high in the draft, especially when they're going to subpar talent teams and they're going to be forced to play right away. I like it when teams can pick a quarterback, they can sit and they can mature, learn how the NFL works, and go from there. So, but again, Trevor Lawrence is the number 1 pick in this year's NFL draft. Me and Lone Wolf, we're 1 for 1. I think everybody, if you're tracking your draft, I guess, is 1 for 1. So that puts the Jets squarely on the clock. Again, this is going to be should be an easy pick. Will it be? I don't know. But this should be in all circles pointing to Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. The Jets need a quarterback now that they traded Sam Darnold. Now, will it happen? I don't know, but it could definitely happen. They could find a different player. They could take Kyle Pitts. So, but we have about 2.5 minutes here before the Jets pick. My thoughts are I think the Jets have had a solid offseason. It started with hiring Robert Saleh as their head coach. Douglas, I think the jury's kind of out on him as a GM. If I was the Jets, they must have seen something in Zach Wilson or one of the other quarterbacks that they really liked, and so they could move on from Sam Darnold. So the pick is in. So we're just waiting to confirm who that is. I'm assuming it is going to be Zach Wilson of BYU. So again, still waiting here. Again, for some reason, I cannot seem to get my stream working for the draft. And it is. The pick is in. It is Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. So, it's one of those things, not a surprising pick, a needed pick by the New York Jets. Now, Joe Douglas, though, now his time basically is here. If this pick does not work out, he will be done as the general manager of the New York Jets. He has no excuses anymore. He can't say that Sam Darnold wasn't a guy. He can't say that Adam Gase wasn't his guy. He now has both the head coach they hired and the quarterback that he picked. The pressure is now on Douglas to put at least a contending team on the field. They don't have to win the Super Bowl right away, but they have to be contending. They have to be, a playoff contending team where they are continually in that hunt for a playoff position. Again, Zach Wilson kind of came out of nowhere, kind of like Jordan Love did last year. Jordan Love did not was not one of those like high risers like Trevor Lawrence was, who for a couple of years there was like he's going to be a first round pick. So again, it's going to be very interesting. Again, a needed pick for the Jets. Not a big fan of the pick because, again, young quarterback that is going to be forced into starting day one, and I don't know if he's ready for it. Now, here's where the draft gets interesting. Okay, this gets interesting here. And the reason for that is what do the 49ers do? Obviously, they want a quarterback. Obviously, now we know they want Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Now, can it happen? Absolutely, it could happen. Will it happen? That's the question. I don't think it will. I think this all kind of broke a little too late, and there's not enough time for them to get it done. I just don't think there's enough time to get it done. I think this is good. I think the 49ers are going to take every single second they can on their clock to try to get a deal done with somebody. But I think in the end they are going to probably take a quarterback here. Probably I think it's either going to be Trey Lance or Justin Fields. And they move on. Then the question is, what do you do with Jimmy Garoppolo? You keep him? Do you trade him? What do you do? What do you do? And that is going to be the big question as we move forward here. So, and again, and we'll obviously we will see what happens as we move along through the draft. If 49ers don't go quarterback here, you could go, add to that offense, get a Kyle Pitts, and that's the thing. Jimmy Garoppolo could end up being a really good quarterback, but you need to surround him with playmakers. And I just, and I know the 49ers, they got Brandon Ayuk last year, and got some other things. I just don't know if, they have enough playmakers to really aid Jimmy Garoppolo. I just don't know if they have it there. At least, especially right now. You have a couple of nice running backs. You don't have that stud running back to take that pressure off. You have some nice receivers. You have a really good tight end, but a quarterback like Garoppolo needs to have above average or great players around him, and he can facilitate an offense. He's not one of those guys like an Aaron Rodgers who can basically elevate an entire offense up. He can manage a very good offense. So the pick is in. We will wait and see what that pick is. Again, I'm waiting to see on the different sites that I have going on here. So again, the pick is in. We're waiting to see who it is. And we will be, Lone Wolf will be joining us soon for his thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers situation and the first couple picks of the draft here. And again, we will be kind of breaking our show up into chunks here because we have a 2-hour limit per stream. So when we get to about 2 hours, we will restart the stream and go in. And it is Trey Lance. That was my pick, that they were going to pick Trey Lance. That is kind of a shock to me. I am not sold on Trey Lance. If I was a team that needed a quarterback right now, I would be wary of quarterbacks from North Dakota State because of the Carson Wentz situation. And everybody can say, oh, they're different quarterbacks. Same coaches, same system, same result. That would be my concern, because college coaches draft similar players. They draft players that mimic players they've had in the past. So what that tells me is that Trey Lance, he might be more athletic than Carson Wentz was and is, but he's a very similar player. Yes, Carson Wentz is a good quarterback, but he's not. I don't think he is a guy that you can hedge your bets on when it comes to basically making a pick that's going to really set your franchise up for either success or a horrible stretch for the next decade. Because when you miss on your quarterback, it is 5 to 10 years before you recover from that bad pick. So yeah, we'll see what we have there.
A bunch of celebs on here. What question y'all want to ask these high-profile men and women on here? Go ahead, you got it. Good question. Who is? Yo, Eddie. I was gonna say, Eddie. I was trying to remember the commercial.
But so now we move now to the number 4 pick, the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons could go a lot of different ways here. They have a lot of needs. I had them, I believe, picking Kyle Pitts here. He's one of those players that is a game changer. You add him to that offense, and wow, that's all I can say is wow. He would be a dynamic player for them, and really make that offense, at least the passing game, pretty unstoppable. Now they need to still find a running game, but you can. That's a great thing about the way NFL offenses are developing this year, or not this year, but just over time, is that you don't need that Barry Sanders, the Emmitt Smiths, Ezekiel Elliott running backs anymore. You need one or two guys that can get you on average, as a team, 100 to 150 yards on the ground a game. If you do that, it's a viable running game. So I know most people have them going with defense. I still think Kyle Pitts is a pick here for the Cincinnati Bengals, or they trade out of this pick. Either one. You kind of look down the line here, depending on what you are looking for. They could do a couple of different things. But again, I really think I really like the Kyle Pitts here, unless they can find a trade partner. And now again, I'm not sure who you would trade with. But again, we'll see here shortly. We are down. The pick is in. The pick is in. So we anxiously await to see who that pick is going to be. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. If you want to talk about your team's pick, go ahead and let us know in the chat. We'll gladly let you call in, and we can have a dialogue about what you think of your team's picks. Again, not too surprising. 3 quarterbacks, 3 picks in the first round. This could be a record number of quarterbacks getting picked in the first round. I believe Justin Fields will still go here in the first round. So that would be 4. And, if you get a quarterback, I guess, desperate team, you could see, a sleeper quarterback get taken in the first round. But, obviously we have a long ways to go. We are only at pick 1. So and it is Kyle Pitts, tight end out of Florida. I like that pick. This kid is going to come in. You look at this offense now for the Falcons. You look at this offense. You have Julio Jones, who, yes, he's getting older. You have Pitts. And then can't think of his name. He's on my fantasy team. I can't think of his name. Why can't I think of the receiver's name? I'll find it here for you. But the Falcons have 3 legit offensive threats now. Matt Ryan's still a viable quarterback. They still have work to do, but I think that is probably one of my favorite picks so far in the draft. He's not a quarterback. And B, that is a pick that is going to be an immediate impact. Now, you're the Cincinnati Bengals. What do you do here? What do you do? Do you add a skill position for Joe Burrow? Do you add a lineman? You have all the wide receivers available. You have all the, you're in a position where you can really fill a huge need either way. I look at it like this. I believe this is going to be Jamar Chase. I don't think it's going to be Sewell. I just really think that when you look at today's NFL and how quick you want to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands, you can figure out the offensive line without high draft picks. A perfect example is the Green Bay Packers. You look at, they continually are up near the top of the league in grades for their offensive linemen, and they lose guys and buy free agency all the time, but they develop linemen. Yes, Aaron Rodgers makes it a little bit easier, but over the last couple of years, they've ran the ball really well. So I think you get the right coaches in place with linemen. You can find quality linemen later in the draft, develop them to help Joe Burrow in that aspect. But you look at their skill positions on offense, they're very limited. If I am looking at building around Joe Burrow, and yes, you need to keep him upright. Yes, he got hit a lot. Okay. Any young quarterback really is going to get hit a lot. It's just a matter of how durable is he? How can he last? So, it's one of those things where you look at all that stuff and I would say give me a guy that can be a playmaker where I can throw the ball in a window and I can trust that he's there. And that would be Jamar Chase. The great thing here is he has chemistry with Joe Burrow already. He knows Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow knows him. They have a connection. And I think that's something at times that's kind of lost when you're looking at evaluating players, is how long does it take to develop a cohesive unit, especially on offense. You already have an advantage here. These two players know each other. So, but again, we will see. We will see what happens here as we move forward. Pick is in, so we're just waiting for the official announcement. So again, this is one. Again, it's still one thing that kills me, everybody. This should not take this long to do these things. I get it. It's ratings, it's money, and all this stuff. But professional sports need to be very wary of things. And they really, really, I think, need to start looking at how do we reduce the time it involves people. Because I think your viewership continues to decline, and not just in the NFL, but in all leagues across the board. So, we're almost an hour in here, and we are only on pick 5 of 31. This has to get faster, everybody. It has to get faster. as we go along here, and I think it usually does as we move along. It gets faster, but you know. Let's see here. Hey, do I have it? It's taken a long time to announce this pick for some reason, so that tells me this could be a trade here. If the pick is in and it's taking this long for them to announce it, that tells me that they could have made a trade. No, Jamar Chase, receiver, LSU. I am surprisingly, I am 5 for 5 on this. Not tooting my own horn, but 5 for 5. So, yeah, it's yeah. So I feel pretty good here. Next up is the Miami Dolphins. Again, here I really think they go offense, and I think they go receiver here as well. They go Devonta Smith, or they trade out here. And I don't remember. This is where I kind of lost track, but I know I was right with me and Lone Wolf disagreed. We'll have to get his thoughts here. He should be here in a few minutes. Get his thoughts on the Jamar Chase pick, because he had him taking Sewell here. Again, I really think you can't pass up playmakers on the edge for your offense. And you look at again, the Aaron Rodgers situation is a developing situation, but if they do trade him, if the Packers do trade him, I'll tell you right now, they are going to start stocking up on skill positions, and you could be looking at a total rebuild of the Green Bay offense here in the next couple of years if they actually do trade him. Will they? I don't know. But we will find out, probably in the next. If they're going to trade him, it will not take long for them to do so. I think it'll be done relatively quick because they aren't going to want it in. So the pick is already in for the Miami Dolphins. As we are starting again, we're going to pick up speed here because I think as the board falls out, I think people are going to really know who they want. Because especially as some players slide, I really, really think that people are they're gonna know. And if there's not a clear-cut trade out there for the pick, then they're gonna just run up there and make the pick. So after this pick is in, it's going to be interesting because you have the Detroit Lions who are up, and so many rumors about the Patriots moving up to draft possibly a quarterback here. I'm not sure. I'm not totally sold on that, but we'll see here what's going on. And
Completely disagree.
here, can you hear me, Lone Wolf?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I started out probably the first 20 minutes talking about the Aaron Rodgers situation.
Okay.
It went from the 49ers tried to trade for him to him not wanting to be back in Green Bay to now the Denver Broncos already have a contract that they know Aaron Rodgers will sign.
I did not hear about this with the Broncos.
So. Oh yeah, we listened to the CBS Sports reporter talk about that. He says he's 51% sure that Aaron Rodgers will be a Denver Bronco within the next week or so.
The Broncos just traded for Teddy Bridgewater.
I know. I totally understand that. And the funny thing is, can you get a bigger stamp that says tamper on it?
Yeah.
If you already have a contract you know Aaron Rodgers is going to like, that means you've been talking to him.
Or his agent.
Which is still tampering because they have to ask permission from the current club to make a deal.
Clearly they haven't done that. Well, and I'm sorry, but the story I saw before is that the Packers had said there was zero chance that they were going to trade him.
Right. And it's funny because this guy also said that Aaron Rodgers has all the leverage. He has zero leverage.
He has none. He's under contract.
He's under contract for 2 years. That makes him 39. And then just to be dinks, the Packers could franchise tag him, and now you're 40 years old.
Yeah.
He
has no leverage.
He has no leverage whatsoever in this situation. I think, and this is why I think this is a power play by Rodgers to get them to draft a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Or make a trade for like a Julio Jones or something like that.
Yeah. Get me something that I told you that I wanted.
Right.
And, something like that. I agree. Yeah.
Because here's the thing. This is all per sources.
Right.
I want to hear from Aaron Rodgers or his agent.
Right. Because other guys who have wanted to trade, Deshaun Watson, before that whole thing blew up in his face, he made it clear that he wanted out.
He came out
Russell Wilson,
I
same
want
thing.
out.
Yeah.
Right. And Russell Wilson came out and said, no, I'm happy, blah, blah, blah. So,
now.
Yeah, now he does. But it's like, I want to hear it from the individual. And that's fine. If you're the Packers and you can get 3 or 4 first-round draft picks for him,
right,
you take him. Oh wow, this is kind of a shock. So just real quick, the 6th pick in the draft, and I was wrong with the wide receiver, but
it's Waddle,
Jalen Waddle, wide receiver, Alabama, goes to the Miami Dolphins. I wonder if it's because maybe there's that connection, kind of like what I was saying before you came on about the Jamar Chase, is that there's already a chemistry between the receiver and quarterback from college.
Right.
And that's so important in today's NFL to have that chemistry.
Right.
Because I called it. I'm tooting my horn here. The first 5 picks, I had dead on.
Oh, and I had, and so far, I'll have the first 4 because I had Lawrence, Wilson, Lance, Pitts. The Bengals, I had Penny Sewell going to the Bengals, but obviously,
Here we go. Trade the Detroit Lions pick is in.
That was quick.
Is this where we get the trade?
I'm thinking so. They said just recently, up till now, that they had been interested in trading this spot.
So we, and this has been rumored. This has been rumored this entire time. We both had the Lions trading out of this pick. It was just we just had we just had different trade partners.
Well, and I can tell you that mine would be wrong because I don't think the Broncos are going to move up to this
No.
spot to pick a quarterback. So.
No, because they're confident they're going to have Aaron Rodgers next year.
Well, they traded for Teddy Bridgewater, and now they think they're going to get Rodgers. I mean,
and the funny thing is here, the report, one of the reports I was reviewing while we were on here, because again, we only get 2 hours, so and I already made this comment. In about another 50 minutes, we have to end this stream and start a new one. So we'll restart it. The report said that Aaron Rodgers has identified 3 teams he wants to play for.
Yeah.
The Raiders, the Broncos, and the 49ers.
Okay.
Okay. Packers aren't trading him to the 49ers.
No.
You're not going
no way.
If he's traded, he's going to be traded to the AFC, because the only time that he could really truly hurt you is in the playoffs, and is in the Super Bowl then.
Right.
And then you're not going to trade him to a contending team. You may trade him to the Broncos. The Broncos, if you think Aaron Rodgers is going to make the Broncos a Super Bowl contender,
you
guys are nuts.
Yeah.
Their defense is so old that you could go to a geriatric nursing home and find guys from there and have a better defense. It's just that defense is old.
Yeah, it completely is. I agree. Yeah.
So, but I'll tell you right now, if the Broncos trade for Teddy Bridgewater and then trade for Aaron Rodgers, they start creeping into one of the most dysfunctional ran organizations in the league.
Right. And this is with John Elway kind of moved aside a little bit with somebody new at the helm in terms of the GM. So I don't know if they start doing that. I agree. I mean, you put way too many of your eggs in one basket, and it just does not. That defense needs to be fixed. They have some nice young receivers, but they've got other pieces they really need.
Right. So I'm sure you had a chance to see the first couple of picks. Any thoughts or takeaways from those picks?
I mean, the first 4 picks went exactly as I picked, so I don't have any real comments there other than Trey Lance going at number 3 was, some people said that was a surprise, but I thought he would be higher than Mac Jones or Justin Fields. And I honestly think that, I had Fields being taken at a certain spot, but I think he might fall. As far as Chase and Waddle being taken, I had the Dolphins taking a receiver. It was Jamar Chase. The Bengals beat them to the punch. So you're right, though. I mean, the comment I would make, you briefly said it, chemistry in college. Now you look at it, Jamar Chase gets reunited with a quarterback he's familiar with. Jalen Waddle gets reunited with a quarterback he's familiar with. They both from the same programs. And there's something to that, and both of them needed to upgrade that position. I'm not really surprised by any of these picks so far.
No, and I was saying too, again, before he came on, is that, a lot of people had the Bengals taking Sewell.
Right.
Which is great. But if you look at the NFL, you can develop offensive linemen to be really good. And I point out Green Bay. Green Bay doesn't have like a high draft pick offensive lineman on their roster that, like a top 15 guy.
Right.
But they're
Yeah.
always kind of considered one of the better offensive lines in the league. And it's
Right.
because of the way they develop the guys. So if you have the right coaches in place, you can get guys in the second, third, fourth round and develop them to be good. Because if you are, the NFL, you want that ball out of the hands of the quarterback fast.
Right.
Well, in order to do that, you need playmakers that can catch the darn ball. So that's why I thought that this was going to be a receiver there. This could selection was made.
Okay.
Al Sewell going to the Detroit Lions.
Interesting. The Lions do not trade this pick. Okay.
That is very interesting. He must have went in and told I don't even know the guy's name anymore. That's the head coach there.
Just call him Kneecap. That's
Just
that's good enough. Yeah.
Sewell must have went in
Dan
there
Campbell,
and
but we'll
just
just
said,
call him Kneecap.
Coach, I'm gonna bite some kneecaps for you.
Yeah.
Because I did not see that. I did not see them going that way.
Right.
You have so many more needs than the offensive line, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably the best player available at that position at that point.
Right.
But you're the Lions, and as we talked about before, they have 6 picks in this draft. So I don't know, maybe no one wanted to trade with them, and we'll find that out. But if you can trade back and get a bunch of picks for that spot, why wouldn't you?
Well, right, and here's the thing: you look at the next couple of picks. You got the
Panthers and then the Broncos.
and
Yeah,
then the Broncos. You could have traded back a few picks and maybe you still have gotten Sewell.
right.
You know,
I mean, the Panthers might take that, but I don't think they will. I mean, I think that they will go a different route personally.
well, I think here now when you look at this and you look at, they have Devonta Smith and Patrick Surtain sitting here.
Yeah.
Either one.
I had them taking Devonta Smith at this
Yes.
point.
So either one of these picks, I think is gonna. I think they're sitting there. They're salivating because they're like, hey, yeah, we're getting one of the two guys that we want. And both will be making an immediate impact for them. Now, I think this is more going to be now that they traded Teddy Bridgewater. I think this is definitely going to be Devonta Smith because you need to give Sam Darnold weapons.
Right.
Now, or could the Panthers shock everybody here and take a quarterback now?
Well, because they did get rid of Bridgewater, that is possible.
And
there had been some talk about the Panthers doing that. I mean, they cleared the way and they have Darnold, but they don't really have much else quarterback-wise.
And they didn't give up much to get Darnold.
Right.
So you could, and you when you were trying to find your quarterback, it's better to have too many than not enough.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really, really interesting. It could throw a whole wrench kind of in the first round here if they take a quarterback here, because I think right now New England, I think, is sitting there thinking we're getting one of those guys.
Right. We're getting Mac Jones or we're getting Justin Fields.
And I think Belichick will be ecstatic with either one.
Sure. I think he could work with either one. Well, and there's no team in between there, after the Broncos that needs a quarterback. If you want to count the Broncos, I don't even know. I mean, with what's happened, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I really don't know what the Broncos are
it's really hard to say what they're going to do now. I mean, I had predicted they would take a quarterback, but who knows? I mean, really, who knows now? Every other team before that doesn't need a quarterback, so the Patriots could be sitting pretty to get one without even moving. And you and I talked about that. The Patriots aren't going to move up from the 15th spot unless somebody leapfrogs them and gets a quarterback and they're worried about it, but I don't see it.
Right. And that's the thing. And I'll tell you right now, and what makes me, talking about the Browns, hesitant about how true these reports with Aaron Rodgers are.
Yeah.
Is that that they're like, this trade's not going to happen for a week or a couple weeks. Why would the Packers trade him at that point then?
Yeah.
You'd want to trade, if you're going to trade him, you want to trade him now and get draft picks for this draft.
Right. That makes no sense to trade after the draft.
Because why would I want to trade Aaron Rodgers to a team like the Broncos and take their first round pick next year? Aaron Rodgers will make them not a Super Bowl team, a playoff team. So okay, we're gonna.
They have the number 9 pick. I want the number 9 pick now.
Right. I don't want 4 picks in the 20s.
Right.
I want at least 1 pick in the top 10.
Exactly.
So yeah, I have a hard time believing. I don't think teams are going to be willing to give Green Bay what they want, and that's why I laughed at the guy when he said that Rodgers has all the leverage. No, he doesn't, because his options are you play out your contract, or you sit and your contract doesn't count. It's not like you're in your 20s and you can sit out a year and still recoup. You're 37. So
yeah, they just keep saying this stuff. Like, he doesn't want to return to Green Bay and all this stuff. I mean,
and I want to hear it from him. Again, I've been a broken record that I want to hear this from his mouth. Because it tells me right there that somebody started a fire here, because they wanted to try to spark a trade. Wow, J.C. Horn, cornerback, South Carolina, going to.
That's a shocker.
That is a kind of a shocker. We had him late in the first round.
Well, I had him at the 15. I think you did too.
So,
yeah, that is a surprise. I mean, I will say this: some people did value him pretty highly. He was a really good corner in college, but that's a little bit higher than we expected there at the 8 for the Panthers to do that.
So now,
I don't know, Coach. I mean, was that the biggest need that the Panthers had?
I don't think so. Their offense is going to not be very good right now.
Yeah.
Their offense is not going to be very good. And I'm not down on Sam Darnold, but you have Robbie Anderson's your top wide receiver.
Right. Who he knows. So it's a good
right,
thing. But
still. And I get it, you have McCaffrey, but he's been hurt.
Right.
Now this pick is going to tell me something right here with the Broncos. If the Broncos take Devonta Smith, they are 100% confident they're going to land Aaron Rodgers. 100%.
Yeah.
If they don't take Devonta Smith, then that means they know that the Packers aren't trading him. And that all this is just BS.
I think some of this is stemming from, he says he was disgruntled. I was reading an article about the fact that they wanted to restructure his contract, but he didn't want to restructure. It sounds to me more like it's a contract issue. People kind of blew this up to saying that there's going to be a trade. It sounds like he's disgruntled, but I don't know that he actually wants a trade. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Being disgruntled and demanding a trade are two different things.
Two different things, yeah. Yeah.
And again, I can understand it. It's his contract. He probably thinks I shouldn't have to restructure this.
Right.
And I get it. But here's push comes to shove here, though, is that he's got to understand, do you want to win a Super Bowl or not?
Right, yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, if you get traded to the Denver Broncos, you are not winning the Super Bowl. You have Kansas City, you have Baltimore, you have Cleveland.
Yeah. And there's other
and
good
Buffalo.
teams in the AFC, Indianapolis, Buffalo.
Yeah.
I mean,
the AFC is stacked with good teams.
Right.
You are
NFC
not.
is not.
Right.
It's just not.
And you're not being traded to an NFC team.
No, absolutely not.
I'll tell you that right now. See, if anybody sits there and brings up an NFC team that the Packers are going to trade with, if the 49ers come calling again, I want 6 first-round draft picks from you.
Yeah.
6.
Well, not only that, but okay, when I saw that story about the 49ers, I'm sorry, are they on drugs? That's what I texted you. I'm like, are they on drugs? They just made a horrible trade to go to this number 3 spot, giving away a bunch of draft capital to get Trey Lance, which, fine, you want a quarterback, but you don't have that many draft picks because of what you did. So then you want to turn around and try to trade out of that spot to get a different quarterback who, granted, he'll make you better, but you have almost no draft picks for the next 2 years because you're trading everything away after you already made this trade to get the number 3 spot.
Well, right, and here's the thing, I get it, and everyone's like, well, he won the MVP last year. That's great. He's still 37 years old. And one of the comments was that I saw was, well, quarterbacks play well into their 40s now. Tom Brady is the exception to the rule.
Right.
He is not the norm. That is not the norm. Now, could Aaron Rodgers? Absolutely. But he has outside interests that he wants to pursue. He wants to be the full-time host of Jeopardy. He's getting married, wants to start a family. You're not getting more than 3, maybe 4 more years out of this guy.
Right.
So I almost, part of me is almost hoping that they can convince him, or they can kind of do a kumbaya thing for one more run at it, and then trade him next offseason, because his cap hit's going to be too much, and he's going to be 38 years old, going on 39.
Right. I think now, this is something else I'll say, and we talked about it, and we went back and forth as to whether we agreed with it or we disagreed with it, but I'll say this now. How smart does this Jordan Love pick look with Aaron Rodgers talking about potentially leaving or wanting to get out of town or whatever the case may be, and he's not really saying it, but maybe he is going to come out and say it. How smart does this pick look now? Planning for the future, and everybody blasted the Packers for picking Jordan Love. I think it's vindication.
Exactly. Because here's the thing. What if they didn't take Jordan Love and now Rodgers would be pulling this?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, people better not sit there and say, oh, because the only reason he's doing this is because of Jordan Love. No. This is what, if he truly wants out, it's not. This has been building for years. This isn't because of Jordan Love. This has nothing to do with Jordan Love. This has everything to do with he doesn't like how the Packers are signing free agents and drafting players. That's what he doesn't like. I get it.
Yeah.
But he's not understanding that. Here's the thing. That NFC Championship game, that wasn't lost because of the lack of wide receivers.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it
There's
would
a
have been
loss.
nice to have another one, but yeah.
That game was lost because of lack of a second corner that couldn't cover and a corner that couldn't cover a crepid elderly wide receiver.
Yeah.
So don't sit there and again, I understand where he's coming from, but that wasn't the reason they didn't make the Super Bowl.
Right. And so, I think the Packers, this season, if they go all in and they try to really push the issue in terms of, making that run and winning that Super Bowl. I mean, if he really wants to move back to the West Coast and host Jeopardy and do all this stuff, if he wins the Super Bowl, this may be a moot point this year if the Packers win the Super Bowl. Because you said, I mean, I agree with you. I think if he does that, he'd probably just retire and say, I'm good to go.
Right. Oh, absolutely. If the Packers win the Super Bowl, he retires.
Yeah.
Period. It's not even a question. Not even a question. He will retire. So, So here, the pick is in for the Broncos. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah.
So one thing I was saying here, as we were waiting for you to come in, I was talking about how the thing that irritates me about like the NFL draft, even though it's a ton of fun, and this is like the one of the Patrick Surtain the second, right there, that tells me they are not confident they're getting Aaron Rodgers because they would have taken a wide receiver.
Yeah. But that's a definite need for them.
Well, yeah,
So, yeah. Yeah.
but here's the thing: if the Aaron Rodgers actually looks at the Broncos offensive roster versus the Packers offensive roster, which
Right.
one's better?
I mean, you had Aaron Jones come back. You've got the best wide receiver in the league, and people can debate about that. But yeah, the
You got
Packers
you
absolutely
got one of the best tight ends.
right. Still a good offensive line. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
I want to hear it from his mouth, that he doesn't want to come back. But what I was saying is that the thing that irritates me though is that this takes so long
it
for
does.
picks.
Yeah, it does.
It took it was almost a half an hour into the stream tonight before they made the first pick.
Right.
Why? Why does this take so long, people?
And we're sitting here, and it's 8:27 our time,
Yep.
and the 10th pick is has yet to happen
Right.
out of the 32.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's unreal. It's unreal.
it does take a long time.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you right now, if Tom Landry and Vince Lombardi and Chuck Noll were here, they'd be flipping out because they could have this a draft done in like an hour.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, well, I hear you, man. Yeah, for sure. I mean, game has changed, but still, teams get so long to do this, and some of it may be jockeying back and forth and what have you,
right?
but still, you know.
So let's talk about the team on the clock, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Uh, got a lot of options here.
I look at this though, Coach, and I had them taking Patrick Surtain. J.C. Horn is off the board.
Yeah,
So this kind of opens things up a little bit. Where do they go in this situation? I don't think they draft a receiver. So
I am going to cautiously say you got to remember who's making the decisions
I
here.
know.
I'm going to say Devonta Smith goes off the board.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Oh, I think Jerry Jones is this far out there that
He just says this guy fell into our lap. We're gonna take
right.
him.
Hey,
Yeah.
I do. I really do. I think that's going to happen. Jerry Jones is
Hard to disagree. Yeah.
he is the new God, I can't now. I am
Davis.
yeah, Al Davis. He is the
Yeah.
new Al Davis in the NFL. Likes the flashy things, likes the
Yeah.
shiny things. We got to add another playmaker on offense.
They just, and they just did. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? Yeah, no, I could see them doing something like that. I agree. Defense is the route they should go, but the thing is, it kind of opens this up because with those corners being gone, there's really not a guy you say, okay, who do we take? I mean, they could go with a Micah Parsons. I mean, that's a possibility.
I mean,
But
they could go with Farley. Farley was a top 10 pick until the back injury.
he was,
So,
yeah.
I mean that if they feel confident that that back injury isn't going to linger,
Yeah.
they
I had him falling out of the first round because of those injuries that he had. But
and I had him still going in the first round, but later on.
right.
So, but let's be honest, the Cowboys should go defense. Their defense was so putrid.
Right. It was awful. Terrible.
So
I mean, they do have a lot of picks in this draft. They have 10. So I look at that and I say, okay, well, if they don't do that here,
they made a
what happened
trade.
here?
They
Trade
made
with the
a trade
Eagles.
with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are taking Devonta Smith.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
This is a no-brainer. They need a
Yep.
receiver. They need a playmaker. Devonta Smith. I had them staying put and taking Najee Harris,
Yeah.
but
And I had the Eagles trading out with the Bears so the Bears could get a quarterback. We knew the Eagles were interested in trading. So this doesn't totally surprise me. But with Devonta Smith on the board, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. If they don't take Devonta Smith, that's a real head scratcher to me.
yeah. And now because the top two corners were off the board, the Cowboys can trade back.
Mm-hmm.
They'll get a corner later in the first round, but not overpay the price for them. I mean, it's a good pick. Jerry Jones actually did something smart.
Yeah, he did.
You know, so we'll see here in about probably more about 5-6 minutes because it says 2 minutes on the clock, but it takes like
It takes longer.
20
Yeah.
minutes to actually read off a name on a card. So, but
It's funny because you look at it, and the Eagles are working to trade up ahead of the Dallas Cowboys before the draft started, and guess what? They traded with the Dallas Cowboys
which is
to get to this
interesting.
point.
Which is interesting because a lot of times teams don't trade inside their division.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking to see if I could find out what the terms of that switch was. Obviously, they probably swapped their number one, their picks in the first round, but I didn't see what the rest of the picks were.
Well, let's find out here. Let's see here.
Oh, this is interesting though. So right now it still says next pick for the Eagles, round 1, pick 12. That makes me wonder if they didn't trade that pick away in the first round.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any. Not seeing any information on the trade yet. Because normally you would see.
Well, I was just thinking maybe on Twitter somebody posted it or something saying what the terms were.
Okay, here we go. So Dallas Cowboys trade the number 10 overall pick to Philadelphia Eagles for the number 12 and a third
Okay.
round and a third rounder, number 84 overall.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah, because now it's updated and says next pick, second round, pick 5. So okay, the Cowboys get
So the Eagles must have thought that the Giants were gonna take Devonta Smith.
right, which is an absolute possibility, and you deny that playmaker or that person, that other team in your division.
Right.
Which the Giants, I mean, absolutely give Daniel Jones some more weapons.
Yeah, but now after Devonta Smith, I don't see a receiver really worthy of a pick this high anymore.
No, absolutely not.
We saw, I think that the second runner receivers we had started in the late teens to early 20s.
Right, exactly.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. The Giants there could go defense here. We talked about linebacker. The one linebacker we had the Lions picking after a trade.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Giants trade out the 11 pick.
They could. Let's see. They have they only have 6 picks in this draft. So if they want to build and want to do some more in this draft, trading back away from that spot, if somebody wanted it for some reason, might be a good idea for them. And they have other things they could do here. I mean, I had them staying home and picking Rashawn Slater because they do need another offensive lineman. But
Devonta Smith.
there it is.
Good. That's a good move by the Eagles. Good pick.
Yep. Agree.
Now they still need more playmakers, so they have now one playmaker on their offense.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
the Eagles were desperate for a receiver.
The Eagles are so barren on offensive playmakers that you needed to do something. So now,
good move.
Yeah, I think Slater's a good pick here because you needed. Obviously, you saw that Daniel Jones was getting hit quite a bit. And he's not like a Lamar Jackson and that he's gonna take off and run. He can take off and run and get some yards now and then, but
and fall over his own feet. Yeah,
right, fall over his own feet. But you have to keep him upright. Unless you can find a trade partner, I think this is a pretty easy pick here for the Giants. But again, it seems like teams continue to take their entire time.
10 minutes later, we'll know what the pick is here.
So, we'll see here. The funny thing is here, besides 2 corners, that's all that's off the board for defensive players.
Right. Which, this is not a deep defensive draft. We talked about that a few different times. So we didn't anticipate there would be a lot of defensive players flying off the board early. I was a little surprised to see J.C. Horn go that high, but
that was a surprise to me. You look at it and they saw something in the evaluation process that they really liked.
Right.
It's that's the funny thing about the draft. You can sit there and you can study it and analyze it, but then a team just sees something in a player that they think is going to change their entire franchise, and they pick them. And you better hope you're right though when you do it, because if you reach for a guy and he doesn't turn out, you're going to be fired so fast. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, the only thing I will say about the draft so far is the 10 picks that have been made, the order, we were close on the order, I think, when we talked about a lot of these guys. The only guy that was the surprise to us was J.C. Horn. Everybody else is in our top 10.
The Chicago Bears just made a trade with the New York Giants.
Oh, there it is. Yep, there's the trade.
This will be either Mac Jones or Justin Fields. You would assume.
I was off by 1 pick.
And again, though, there's one of those picks that, when you look at the draft order, though, so what pick did the Bears?
The Bears had the 20th pick.
The 20th pick. Okay. Cowboys weren't taking a quarterback. The Chargers weren't taking a quarterback. The Vikings were taking a quarterback. The Eagles or the Patriots, maybe.
Yep.
The Cardinals were not taking a quarterback. The Raiders weren't taking a quarterback. Miami wasn't taking a quarterback. Washington might take a quarterback.
Right.
If you trade up to get a Justin Fields or a Mac Jones here, Again, this is a stupid move. This is going to be Mitch Trubisky all over again.
Mitch Trubisky 2.0.
Because
but coach, I said when we were talking about this, I was just convinced that the Bears were going to move up. I was off by a pick. I thought they were going to move to the 12. They moved to the number 11 because that's what this GM does. He makes bad decisions about quarterbacks.
He is not smart.
Over and over again.
The details of the trade haven't been announced yet. Obviously, they swapped. Chicago's going to have to at least give up a minimum of a third because that's what Philadelphia had to give up to move up with Dallas.
For sure, yeah. Well, and good move on the Giants' part, like we were just talking about.
Right. Oh, excellent move.
Yeah. They needed more picks.
Because now, you're back in that second-tier receiver area or the top-tier linebacker area, which both are needs in New York.
Right. Or even a lineman if you wanted to go that route. I mean, Tevin Jenkins might be available there. Elijah Vera Tucker might be available there. But Kadarius Toney was the pick I had at 20. He might be available as a receiver. So good move by the Giants.
And the pick is in. We're just waiting to see who it actually is. So the Giants trade the number 11 pick to Chicago for 20th, a 5th-round pick, a first-round, the 2022 first-round pick, and a 2022 4th-round pick. Holy mother!
What?
You better hope that Justin Fields leads you to the Super Bowl this year.
Because if you guys get him and you end up being the bottom feeder in the NFC North.
Oh my God.
Fired. What is this? What is the trade? Look at this. A first rounder? Another first round pick that they
gave up 2 first round picks. A 5th round was basically 2 first rounders, a 5th and a 4th.
If they would have given away a 4th and a 5th for this spot, I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, and swap picks. You gave up an extra first round pick.
Holy, the Giants. The Giants
bandits. Ryan Pace is the gift of GMs that keeps on giving for the NFC North.
Oh yeah.
I mean, holy cow.
The other teams in the NFC North, the Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers, have to be sitting here just looking at
just laughing.
Going, Thank you. You're so
just
dumb.
Laughing.
Thank you.
Come on, Chicago.
The fans of Chicago have to just be beside themselves.
How about this? What if they don't take Fields or Mac Jones, and they take Rashawn Slater?
Oh boy. I don't know. There might be riots in the streets of Chicago.
There might be, anyways. Lone Wolf after this.
It's true.
Oh my Lord! This Justin Fields.
Okay. All right. Still.
Horrible.
It's horrible.
Wasn't high on Justin Fields as it is.
No. And you gave up three draft picks to get him, including a first rounder.
Oh my God.
To move up 9 spots to take Justin Fields because you're worried about Washington or New England taking him?
Wow. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Awful.
Wow.
So, look, neither one of us was high on him. He's an Ohio State quarterback. None has succeeded in the NFL in recent memory, and by recent memory, I mean within 5 decades. So we don't have anybody that I mean, and you can say, okay, there's a guy who's a journeyman quarterback who's been serviceable, but I'm talking about worthy of this level of a pick.
Right.
So this guy steps into it, and he's already question marks, and then he's managing his epilepsy, which he talked about, which that story was downplayed, like we talked about earlier. This is a terrible move by the Bears. Terrible.
I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. If you are a Chicago Bear fan, you ought to be asking for your money back.
For your season tickets?
For your season tickets, because that was just a horrible trade. Yeah, just
wow,
just horrible, just absolutely horrible. I don't know what else to say. I don't know. I mean, I get it. You're desperate for a quarterback, but come on.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, you offer something like that, and obviously the Giants, they robbed the Bears, but you can't tell me that you couldn't have gotten that for less. I see that, and I don't know how that even occurs. You just the Bears must have come in and said, "Hey, we're willing to offer this," and the Giants are like,
"Okay,
give us 1 second. We'll laugh, off to the side, and then we'll say, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll take that."
I mean, it's just. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. So now you got the Cowboys back on the clock.
Yes, now the Cowboys are back on the clock.
And here's one thing that I could see them doing now is going with Rashawn Slater. They do have issues on the offensive line, so that would not surprise me now at this point of taking Slater. I think that would be a very feasible.
Yeah, and they do have needs on the defensive side of the football, like we talked about, but they have a lot of picks now.
Right.
And they had 10 to start with, but they've got quite a few. So, yeah, I could see that too, and they can address the defense later. That's definitely a possibility. But they could go with one of the linebackers that's available too. That's a possibility as well. I mean, they do need. They have a definite need at that position. So I wouldn't be surprised by that.
And the pick is already in. So I'm
they had a little extra time to think about it, so they obviously know who they want.
I'm trying to look on Twitter here to see if there's any reaction to the Chicago Bears trade.
Oh, right. Yeah. This.
So, and we might get censored on this, but this is Adam Schefter's reports.
Yeah.
People are aware. People wanted Mac Jones.
I don't really know that that's a better pick at that spot anyway.
So here's one person. Justin Fields is the unluckiest person in America tonight.
Well, there you go. There's some reaction right there.
Well. Well, there are some dumb people out there. Some people are saying that the 49ers are trading back into the first round. With what?
What do they have to trade that people would want? Yeah. So
Man, yeah. Yeah, it's
well, this would be interesting. I'm curious still here. This is the pick being in is just kind of bugging me here. Like I want to know who the Cowboys.
well,
pick
right.
here.
The pick came in so fast that
Right.
you kind of figured that, hey, this shouldn't take long. This is what what irritates me with the Micah Parsons.
Oh, there it is, Micah Parsons.
So I think it's a little high. I had him going, I believe, 15 to Detroit. But it's a good pick. I like him.
Yeah. And it's a definite need. I mean, it's defensive player. He's the best linebacker in the draft.
Yeah.
So I had him going at the 17, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised with an offensive lineman like we were just talking about. But with him going there, yeah, that's a pretty solid pick for them. They need so much defensive help. It's kind of
Yeah. And so we will go through, I think, this pick with the Chargers, and then we're going to end the stream because we're under 10 minutes left on our time limit, I believe, and then we will come back. We probably won't miss anything because we'll close it down, and take a few minute break here just to kind of get a refreshment and do that stuff, and then come right back to it. So
yeah, yep, yeah, that works.
The Chargers are on the clock. Rashawn Slater's sitting there. I had him going way higher than this.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah, and Coach, I had the Chargers picking Christian Darrisaw. So with Rashawn Slater sitting there and your franchise quarterback, already obtained, this is probably a no-brainer for them to pick Rashawn Slater and just go for it.
Well, right. You solidify that offensive line now. I because I believe I had them trading up.
You did,
yeah. And actually, and they, I think I don't remember. I might have them taking a receiver. Yeah, I had them taking a receiver.
You did, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Or they're going to trade.
And who knows? They may have tried to trade up, but it didn't happen. And
Yeah, because their need areas, offensive tackle, tight end, cornerback, defensive tackle, wide receiver. So they do have quite a few needs. But I guess we will see here shortly what they do.
Yeah, I think the Slater's the no-brainer pick for them. It's a need, and he's the best player available. So. And that's the thing. So, like you were talking about, they're on the clock, and they're just letting the time roll. Like, this should be an easy pick. I don't know. I mean, it just should be pretty simple for them to just hold it.
Right, and this is the frustrating thing. It's like you know who's on your board, and I get you want to take time to do trades, but you should have pretty much have something figured out right now if you're going to trade this pick, because whoever makes a trade with you only gets the time you have remaining on your clock.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, that, and I mean, this is probably not a sought-after spot.
No.
So you're not going to trade, so just pick.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm totally talking about. That it just it's irritating and frustrating that we sit here and and have to wait. It's like I get you want teams to have time to make proper decisions. You've had months and months, and you have staff that are evaluating these guys, and you're putting these draft boards together, and you can't tell me that there are a ton of discussions going on right now with who to pick here. You know?
Yeah, I mean, they're not sitting there right now saying, "Oh, who should we go with?"
All right, so the pick is in.
The pick is in
so
now.
let's see how long it takes for them to actually read the pick.
Right.
That's the other thing. It's like, okay, the pick is in. It should take literally maybe a minute to get up to the podium and call out who you picked, but they don't do it that way, and it's frustrating.
No.
And I was talking about how the leagues, especially the NFL, really needs to look at this because, yeah, it's a lot of like people like following it and stuff, but your viewership and your fan base is decreasing in all professional sports. The less time somebody has to spend engaging in your product, the more fans you're going to get right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's plain and simple. So, but I mean, yeah. After this pick, we still have another 8.
Well, this is the 13th pick, so
18 more picks.
Yeah, quite a few to go
man.
here, yeah.
It's just amazing. It definitely is amazing. But anyways, so
okay, so I see one person online who celebrated the Justin. There's several others that are not.
Well, I guess I'm fine with the pick.
Yeah.
But I don't like how much they gave up to get him.
Right. No, I agree. I mean that's the biggest thing for me was that too. I totally agree. So
here's one person that says Chicago's world just got so much easier. Stafford's gone. Rodgers is about to leave. Fields is going to compete against Love, Goff, and Cousins. Weak beep division. Rodgers isn't going anywhere, buddy.
Yeah, Rodgers ain't going anywhere. He will keep talking like that, but he's not going anywhere.
Well, here's one person. Yes. Justin Fields, my prayers are answered. Welcome to Chicago. Let's go.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Happy times. All right. Well, I don't know if we need to end the stream and pick it back up again.
Let's just stick with it. Let's see if they kick us off.
Okay.
I mean, everybody, if our stream ends, that means we've hit our time limit. We'll be back shortly. So, Ramos, thanks for entering. Our stream might get cut off here because of our time limit. If it does, we are going to end, take a little break, come back on because we've been going since 7 o'clock, since the draft officially started. So we are going to finish the entire first round. Thank you for following us.
Appreciate that.
So again, we'll see. Normally we get a little warning that our stream is about to end. I haven't seen anything on our screen about it tonight, so I don't know. Maybe we've hit some threshold with views and downloads and stuff that we get it expanded. I don't know. So I'm really not sure how their algorithm works when determining this. But if it does end out, we will be back in a few minutes after we.
And we still don't have the chart.
It's been almost 4 minutes since the pick's been in, and this is the issue.
and we do
that
not
we have
have
with
it.
the NFL here is that it's like the pick is in. Well, give us the pick for crying out loud.
Right. Let's go. Let's find out. Who is it? Come on now. Yeah.
Well, Dallas is front of the division. I guess you have to kind of say yes because of the talent on the roster. I give them a big negative because you have Mike McCheeseburger as your head coach. So, yeah, exactly. Washington's defense is really good. Oh, there it is. We are going. The stream's going to end in 2 minutes, so we are going to. Oh, the pick is in real quick. We'll talk about it when we come back. Rashawn Slater, tackle Northwestern, picked by the Los Angeles Chargers with the 13th pick. We have to exit our stream so we can come back and we'll be back. Ramos, if you come back, we can talk about McCheeseburger much more.
Yeah. And we're both Packers fans too. We can talk about that and definitely, yeah. So
all right. We will be back in after a short break. Thank you, everybody.